shining example of what people can achieve when they band together in order to create change. So I applaud these women, and we speak your name, Masa Amani. We speak your name, Masa Amini, and the names of all the other protesters who have lost their lives fighting for their right to free expression. We speak your names. And so I often have said over the years that if you are a woman born in the United States, despite all of our problems, all of our bickering, all of our challenges, if you're born here in the United States, you're already one of the luckiest women in the world. And these protests around the world now exemplify that for us. So that's one of the things to be grateful for. Back to the class we've come together for today. It is about gratitude. This is something I quite literally have been talking about for decades now. I think it was the 90s when I first did the first show about a gratitude journal. You know, the word gratitude is one of those words that's overused, but when practiced, it can change everything about how you move through this world. It truly is my religion. It is a religiously practiced, spiritual practice that I've been carrying on. It changes your outlook. It changes your personal energetic force field that you're putting out into the world, into your family, into your home. It's my spiritual practice. And I know if you use it in those moments when everything feels like it might be falling apart, that's when you use it. It's great to do it. I mean, I journal every night too. I journal when things are going really well, but I'm telling you, it has the most powerful impact when you can do it, when you can sit and be grateful in the sorrow, when you can be grateful in the crisis, when the biggest challenge of your life has showed up and you still can find something within yourself to be grateful for. That's when it becomes the real deal. Because we can all just practice it, you know, like, Jesus, I had some butter pecan ice cream today, and I'm very grateful for that. So when you're eating butter pecan ice cream and not feeling guilty, that's a great thing. But when you're sitting in the sorrow of loss, when you're sitting in the sorrow, whether it's losing your job or losing a loved one or losing something that is meaningful to you, and you can find it, that's when you know you're working it. So it opens up more possibilities. That's what we're going to talk today. And we'll show up for you in ways that you just cannot imagine. When I say it changes your personal vibration, it changes the energy that you're putting out into the world, which changes the energy that's coming back to you. That's why it's a religion for me. Okay, so are we ready? Let's get your planners and turn to page 220 to follow along with this conversation. Those of you who are on screen, thank you so much. Those of you who are just listening in to us, thank you for your comments. I'll be reading them all afterwards. Let me know what resonates with you, because that really matters to me, knowing that we're hitting a nerve out there. So joining us today for our discussion is another professor, Dr. Scott Barry Kaufman, but for tonight's purposes, we're just going to call him Dr. Scott. He is a cognitive scientist and humanistic psychologist. He is the founder of the Center for Human Potential, and he is a professor at Columbia University. He teaches one of the more popular courses there called The Science of Living Well. You know, when I was going to school, we didn't have no classes like this, but this sounds like a class I would want to take. And today we all get to be a part of Dr. Scott's class. And by the way, he's authored over 10 books, hosts the #1 psychology podcast in the world. It's called The Psychology Podcast. Welcome, Dr. Scott. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Oprah. It's so great to be here. I have so much gratitude for this discussion today. You're such a shining light when it comes to self-actualization.
Ooh, I love it. Self-actualization. That's what we're all aiming for. So, Dr. Scott, we have a lot to talk about. So I want to meet our beautiful insiders who are going to be joining us for today's class. Beautiful. I mean, they put on makeup and everything for tonight's Zoom. I could see your lipstick shining through the Zoom screen. So let's see who's with us. Hi, Erin in Texas and Marianne in Canada. Hi, Melinda in Alabama. I see you. Jacqueline in New York. And there's Tanya in Georgia. Did I pronounce it correctly? Tanya. They told me don't say Tanya. So I got in my head, don't say Tanya, don't say Tanya, don't say Tanya. Hi, Gabby in California. Hello, Stephanie, Illinois. Hi there. Deanne, New York. Lana, pronounced like Donna out in New Orleans. Hi there. Another New Yorker. Hey, Nick. Good to see you. And Prerna. Never heard that name before. In California. Aphrodita in California. Thank you all so much for being here. I wanted to say Aphrodite, like Aphrodite, but it's Aphrodita. Thank you. So before we dive into some of the incredible, I think, informative curriculum today, Dr. Scott I wanted to get a sense of where gratitude was landing for all of you. So we asked all of you to write down a list of everything that you were grateful for in your lives. And I was particularly interested in how all of you felt before you wrote that list and after you wrote that list. So Priyana, let's hear from you. How did you answer that? First of all, how many things did you get on your list?
Here, and
Unmute yourself.
The first question, Oprah and
Yeah,
Dr. Scott.
Good.
How many things? I did not count, but I think it would be around 30, starting from every small thing to big things. And before I started that list, I was actually feeling very overwhelmed with lots going on in the life, very busy job and demanding job, 2 kids that are little and demand a lot from me throughout the week and the weekend, and then upcoming trip to India. And then I started writing the list from the small things that I'm grateful for. And then the big things that I'm grateful for. Yeah, like actually, strangely enough, I actually jotted down eating ice cream because this weekend was super hot in California.
Yeah.
And actually, I did
too. And I hadn't had ice cream. I haven't had ice cream in like 4 years. I haven't had ice cream. So when you haven't had butter pecan in 4 years, it is like, pleasurable. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so again, I started writing the small things and then big things. And after writing down that list of small and big things that I am grateful for, I started to feel very blessed and blissful from inside out of the beauty and the goodness that God has given me in this life. Yes, I'm super busy in a very demanding job, but that job helps a lot of millions of needy and vulnerable kids and families for the state of California. I have 2 little kids that are demanding at this age, but they also love and support me when I need it. And I do have an upcoming trip to India, a very short trip, but I am super grateful and excited to see my family, especially my grandmother, after they write 5 things, but that 30 things really made a difference.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that happened. Anybody else on the screen, raise your hand if that happened to you. You could feel your energy shift when you did it. Raise your hand. Okay, great if you did. If you didn't, that's okay too. But Gabby, I was reading your gratitude list, nice and long. Tell us how you did with this assignment.
Hi, Oprah. Hi, Dr. Scott. Give a list maker a task with a list and I can write for days. I live my life by lists, but I'm going to be honest. When we were first asked to do this, it seemed a bit daunting. I didn't know that if I could write for as long as we were asked to. And so I broke it up into increments, and it was 15 minutes and then a little bit more and then a little bit more. And before I knew it, the time was done and I could have written even more. And I realized it wasn't just like we were talking before. It's the big things and the small things. It's the good things and the bad things. And what I really felt too was I wanted to put action behind my list. So it wasn't just being grateful for being healthy and being able to move my body. I want to actually make an effort to do that. I'm blessed to live in a city that I have loved ones nearby, and I want to be able to make an effort to see them more and not just have it be a list written on paper. But it's true. The vibration changed. I felt excited. I wanted to move with the list and with it. So
that is so wonderful. These are great. Marianne, I see on your list of gratitude, you wrote every organ, every limb. That's something most of us take for granted. How did the exercise make you feel after doing it?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. It's so nice to meet you, Oprah. Before I wrote the list, I woke up feeling a little empty inside actually and tired. But writing the list really lifted me up. I went big at first. You probably, as you read it, I wrote the stars, the moon, everything, and then slowly came back into my body and then my mind. And I found that it filled me up and it gave me energy, and it actually made me feel more meaningful.
I had double knee surgery last year. So I had a knee surgery in August, and then I had another knee surgery in November. And when I came home, I literally, the first time after knee surgery, I literally could not lift my leg. I couldn't lift my heel off of the bed. And I vowed if I was ever able to, get up and walk around and move again, that I would take advantage of movement, of exercise, of being able to be fully in my body and to use my body. And so as I was rehabilitating, I started hiking and every day trying to hike more and do more. And my appreciation for every organ and every limb has just expanded, exponentially. So you mentioning that really brought that home to me. And anybody who's ever had any kind of illness, like, first of all, when you have a knee operation, they make you get up the first day, but you're incapacitated in so many other ways. And I think being incapacitated allowed me to have a greater appreciation for what it means to be able to have movement, to be able to have access to your body. So thank you for reminding us of that. Tanya, oh my goodness, I enjoyed reading through your list. You have everything from prayer to bedroom slippers to your printer on there. How did you feel before and after?
Thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to meet you, Dr. Scott, Oprah. I was actually frustrated when I started my list. It was frazzling because it seemed like I had a million things to get done. And I already have a quiet time first thing in the morning. So I thought, okay, this is one more thing to do on top of the million other things that I have to do. And I was feeling frustrated. It was hard to focus. I'm a widow and a single mom. I work full-time from home as an entrepreneur. And at the time, my son is out for fall break. I had a contractor come, started doing some work on the house. I kept being interrupted. But as I wrote the list, I didn't judge, like, oh, I am thankful for my printer. Don't judge. Put that on the list. I'm thankful for this cup beside me. I'm thankful for this. I put everything on the list because I paused after each time and thought, how much more challenging would my life be without this? Or how much more frustrating would I be feeling without this? These slippers on my feet are making me feel so comfortable. And so I put that on the list. And I ended up with like 67 things, I think. At the end,
that's a good one.
My heart just, like, it was like my heart was smiling. I laughed at myself because I thought, even though my life can be crazy, even though it's challenging, look at how many things I can be thankful for. And I can't say it was a true hour because I was interrupted 3 times. But if I could just sit uninterrupted, how much longer would that list be? That means my life is beautiful, even with the challenges. And I just had a heart smiling feeling all day. Like, this was good. This was worth it. I liked it.
Oh, good. I'm glad that happened for you all. And those of you all who are listening to us, do the exercise for yourself and watch as you just heard here, testimony from everybody who's shared their story. It opens the heart space for you, doesn't it, Dr. Scott?
It sure does, yeah. And just opening up our heart space can give us more gratitude as well. It works both directions.
Yeah, I believe that what we're getting at here is something that you call in your classes existential gratitude. Tell us what that means, existential gratitude. Explain that to us.
Yeah, sure. First of all, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for those beautiful reflections. I like to refer to it as like existential gratitude because we can have a deep gratitude for just being able to exist. We can have awareness and appreciation for all of human experience, not just the good, and we can find meaning even under the most challenging of circumstances and use that as a springboard for joy, connection, creativity, and purpose in our lives. My colleague Christy Nelson calls it gratefulness, to try to capture the fact that it's not something we have to wait till we're in a good mood for. It's an orientation toward life. It's not seeing the cup half full or seeing the cup half empty, but being grateful that you have a cup at all. So I just love that.
I love that too. And of course, I still do the practice that I recommended to everybody back in the 90s when I first did Sarah Brumbronick's book, A Simple Abundance. When I first, I've been journaling my whole life, but then in the 90s, Sarah Brumbronick introduced this idea of gratitude journaling. And it, as I said on the show at the time, immensely changed my life. But now what I do is more of what you were just talking about, and that is in the moment that the thing is happening, like in the moment in the shower with the hot water, I'm like, wow, hot water. Isn't this something? And you think about, as we watch our neighbors and people that we don't even know in other parts of the country during the hurricane recently, and how badly those people would want just to be able to have hot water and a shower. And you get it just by going in and turning on your faucet. And if you get hot water and some good water pressure, I don't know, that's enough to dance in the shower for. The water pressure is good too. So Aaron, I know you have a great question for Dr. Scott. I'm dealing with negative thoughts creeping in. Let's get to that. Why we can't stay in the space of gratitude.
Thank you, Oprah, and thank you, Dr. Scott. I think for me, that's the big challenge for me is how to navigate when those what ifs, I guess, seem more relevant than the what is. I actually did Favorite Things last year with Gail and Adam, and which is where I got my first copy of your book. And at the time I was pregnant, my daughter was due around your birthday because Gail joked about that. And a week later, she was stillborn. And so from there, we're blessed to be, expecting again, but just faced with those what ifs, like every day. And instead of being able to really sit with the what is, which is, we begin being able to, celebrate having life and celebrate our living children and just celebrate that life. But it's hard sometimes. So Dr. Scott, if you have any guidance on that, I welcome it.
Yeah, I just want to hold space for you for a second. It is hard. And I think a big part of existential gratitude practice is not immediately jumping to the good thing, and it's being able to actually hold that in your experience and just be with it. Our brain, that's just what our brain does. Our brain constantly is asking us, what can we do better? It's constantly criticizing us, constantly thinking what ifs. And in fact, we can have gratitude for the fact we even evolved that in the first place, that we have that mechanism. It keeps us safe. So first of all, I'll say we can have gratitude for even having a mind that cares so much about us, that we care so much about constantly thinking about what if. But I think the key insight here is that where you put your attention is where you put your life. I found one of my favorite quotes I wanted to read from the great Oprah Winfrey, where she says, quote,
Stop. What you just said is worth writing down.
Okay.
Where you put your attention is where you put your life. Okay, you may continue, Dr. Scott. Thank you. Just wanted to note that moment.
I believe that with all my heart.
I believe that too. I mean, you're saying it resonated with me. Where you put your attention is where you put your life. So you have to think about, everybody listening, where is your attention and your focus going on in your life? Because that is what's coming back to you all the time. Because that is the other principle that is my religion. It's the third law of motion in physics, which is for every action, there's equal opposite reaction. You don't have to believe it. It's happening, whether you want to whether you care to see it or not. What you're putting out is coming back. What you're putting out is coming back. So I just wanted to note that. Continue, sir.
Thank you, Oprah. To support that, I want to say one of my favorite quotes that I found from the great Oprah Winfrey is, the tiniest change in perspective can transform a life. That's a quote that I live by as well. My recommendation to you, Aaron, is to try to notice what's right in front of your eyes as it is, not as you want it to be. And I think that's really the key. And also trust that if something bad happens, no matter how crappy it is, you will be able to deal with it. If you can really learn to trust yourself, Aaron, I think that you'll be able to stay in the moment more. And it's easier said than done. Trust me. I'm not there by any stretch of the imagination, but I really do believe we can stay in the moment by trusting us and trusting that we can really deal with it.
I remember that too from many years ago. There was a woman in the Oprah show who had been betrayed multiple times by her husband, and was going from relationship to relationship and was afraid of being betrayed. And I remember someone saying to her the exact same thing, that you don't have to worry about somebody betraying you. You don't have to worry about not trusting someone else if you can trust yourself to do the right thing. Can you trust yourself? Can you trust that, one of the things Maya used to say, and actually wrote a book of poetry called Wouldn't Take Nothing for My Journey Now. And as you talk about your stillborn baby, I don't know why that happened, but I know that whatever the reason was a part of your journey and a part of your learning and a part of your strengthening and a part of your power making on earth for yourself. I don't know why. And we have no explanation for that. But I do know that you're coming out on the other side of it is a part of the continued journey for you. And you will get to the space where you will be able to say, even with the loss of your baby, I wouldn't take nothing for my journey now. So what people actually find to be the most challenging part of this concept, I think, Dr. Scott, is how do we find meaning in all the bad stuff that happens to all of us as part of that full human experience you talk about? Because I tend to, speak most often and also to my friends in spiritual terms, in terms of what is the bigger picture and that there is meaning behind everything. I do have a friend that every time anything bad happens, that person will say, so tell me why this is happening. I don't understand this. So tell me why this is happening. The truth is, I think we are all geared to believe that life is supposed to go smoothly all the time. It wouldn't be life if it were going smoothly all the time. We live in a world of yin and yang, of opposites, and all that comes with that. So what do you want to say about this expectation that things are supposed to be great? They are not going to be. It's like riding a wave. Life is like riding a wave, and there are going to be high moments. Absolutely. And that feeling that, oh God, it's a high moment. Oh, a low moment's going to come. Yeah, it is going to come. And you know what? And another high moment is going to come too.
It's very Zen Buddhism of you, Oprah.
I don't even know what it's called, but I've just lived long enough to see that that's the way it works. So how do we find gratitude in hard moments? How do we find gratitude in hard moments?
Yeah.
I'm asking.
Sure. One thing is I love that we can bond as a species about the fact that we all have challenging moments. We all have moments that don't go according to expectation, and we can extend gratitude beyond the happiest part of our lives. I do think we can find meaning in our hard times by, first of all, recognizing that we can't change the past. We have to give up all expectation that we'll ever be able to change the past, first of all. Second of all, we need to engage in others, people who we're close to, and reflect on the ways in which our times have changed us, ways in which we've been transformed, ways we can use compassionate inner dialogue and pursue greater self-discovery and renewed purpose and connection in our lives. We can really find that meaning, even though obviously in most cases it's not like we wish the accident or the incident to happen. We don't wish that we're not happy or grateful for the incident itself, but we're grateful for the meaning that we get from it. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. And the question we're asking today is, what's standing in the way of your gratitude? We've heard the saying that comparison is the thief of joy. Have y'all heard that before? Comparison is the thief of joy. So what are the obstacles standing in our way of feeling grateful for our lives and the people we love? You talk about this a lot in your class, Dr. Scott, and I know there are lots of obstacles, but let's talk about the three most common.
I love talking about the obstacles. Thank you for asking me this question. So one is ego or entitlement. And I just see that as seeing yourself as the center of the universe. So the world revolves around you. So therefore you expect all good things to come your way. So that's number one. Number two is resentment, and resenting life not going exactly according to your plan. And the third is cynicism. I think cynicism is a big one, and it's really underrated. You can have cynicism for people and their positive intentions, or even the good things that happen to you, somehow thinking they're not genuine in some way. And I think cynicism can also block gratitude when you expect negative things to happen to you. You can be cynical, in the sense of, the universe, it's something bad's going to happen. All these kinds of expectations can really impact and inhibit and shut down the possibilities.
Yes, and if you expect it and articulate it, generally it shows up because, words are powerful. So much so that I've shared this story before about Maya. I talk about her a lot because she was such a big influence on me. And she would not allow anybody in her house spewing any kind of cynicism or negativity, because she would say, words have power. And I do not want your words to get stuck in my curtain or behind a sofa or in a pillow. And it's like in the atmosphere. So I literally, y'all, Maya was tough, man. I mean, somebody was in the middle of telling a homophobic joke at her house once. She was on the other side of the room, and I was standing like within 2 feet of the person. I heard it, they were getting to the, like, when you tell the one person did this and the second, and then now the third person, and then the joke is going to come. And I see Maya storming across the room, and she says, "Not in my house, you won't. Not in my house, you won't. Be gone with you." First of all, who says be gone with you? Maya, be gone with you. And the person had to leave the house and then so we're all standing there like, whoa, oh my God, what just happened? Why did you have to do that? And that's when she said, I don't allow it in my house because words get stuck in my curtains or behind my pillow. And I don't want to wake up in the morning with that energy in my house. Be gone with you. I mean, Lord, you want to live and never hear "be gone with you" from Maya Angelou. Okay, we wanted to hear from our insiders on their experience with handling ego. Jacqueline, what did you say?
To my question about having a hard time feeling grateful when? Is that where we are?
Yeah.
I'm so enthralled in this conversation. I don't even know where I am. I think
She's in the moment. That's good.
I'm in the moment. It's my turn. I think for me, when you know who you are and when you know you have a big service and a big impact, it's a struggle when things don't go your way, right? It's difficult to recognize the divine timing of things and be okay with it and be grateful even through that journey, because you're like, it's not happening like I want it to. It's not happening in my timing. And I think that that's probably one of my biggest struggles, the ambition and whatnot, and learning to just stay in that energy of gratitude, stay in that energy of presence, knowing that what it is, like Oprah says all the time, having that vision and keeping that vision very clearly and knowing that these things will be manifested. But how do you stay grateful when things aren't unfolding according to the way you would like them to? Or when this, I think I put on my homework that it was fear, but I honestly feel if I tune into the energy, it's more grief. It's grief. The overwhelming sense of grief when things aren't kind of going in the way that you had hoped they would. You know what I mean? Or on your timing.
Can I respond to that for a second, Oprah?
She's talking to you. She's asking you the question.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. Amazing. Amazing.
Okay.
Excuse me. Can I have a whole pass, Oprah? No, I just want to make sure I don't step on your words. I don't want to step on words. But, I want to just put something into perspective, perhaps, if this is, offer this to you in case this is helpful. Things may not be going your way, but things still may be going the right way. And I think it's important to make that distinction. The thing is, when our expectations are so strong, we can actually be blind to the thing that is actually best for us. I can be reading a script, or I can be thinking in my head so much about the next thing I'm going to say that I don't actually hear someone's beautiful compliment to me, or I don't hear something that I can react to in the moment that will be even more beautiful than the darn thing I'm about to say. So I just want to really present that to you as a different way of perhaps thinking about things.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
May I present? I love that line. I love that line, Dr. Scott. Things may not be going your way, but they are going the right way. Still going the right way. And I think, I'm the oldest one on this call, so I can say, having lived through a number of challenging experiences, what you want to do is get to the point, Jacqueline, where you can have the vision for yourself and let the vision go. What you really want to do is to be able to live in the surrendered space. And surrender doesn't mean giving up. Surrendered means I have now done everything that I can do, and now I offer it to that which is bigger and greater than myself to do with what you will. And the thing that's supposed to show up for you will show up in that thing. Because part of the thing, I will say this to everybody, part of what keeps you from having what you say you want is you're pressing against the thing. It's the energetic resistance of not allowing it just to flow instead of pushing it forward, trying to push the thing forward. And so there's an energetic flow to all of our lives that gratitude allows you to be in that space if you practice it regularly. That's the thing that you all described, that you start out feeling one way, and then afterwards you feel more open, you feel more enhanced, you feel like your heart space has been expanded. That's the space you're trying to be in more than not. And you can do that by using your work, your ambition, your goals, your vision, all of that's really important. But once you've done all that you can, it's your job to surrender it to that which is bigger. Because I had a dream for my life. God had a bigger dream. The universe, the life forces had a bigger dream for my life. And God can dream, the life forces, the creator of your existence can dream a much bigger dream for your life than you could have ever imagined for yourself. So in your way, you do everything that you can, then you surrender it to the thing that's bigger than you. And it happens in the time that it's supposed to happen. I can assure you that's the way it works. Amen. That's the way it works. Every time, doesn't it, Dr. Scott?
It does. My friend and colleague Jordan Feingold says, instead of saying I expect something to happen, say I aspire for something to happen. And when we aspire, we're saying, we're going to put our all into it. We're going to have agency. But if it doesn't work out, that's the universe. So I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. So letting go of resentment is within us, because you said resentment was one of the things that keeps us from moving forward. So we asked our insiders, instead of feeling resentment towards people and events, how can we see the ways these experiences made us stronger, more compassionate, and whole as a human being? So Lana, what did you say for this one?
Thank you, Oprah and Dr. Scott, so much. So what I say for this in my homework, I reframed some of the negative experiences by considering the message it was built to deliver. Life events happen for growth and for us to share with others. I learned this because these negative events kept happening over and over again. So I had to pause a little bit and acknowledge it and really think about what was happening here. I'm trying to see experiences as a gift that can help myself and hopefully help someone else by being more intentional, diving deeper within myself to discover that true essence of who I am and the root of all things that matter to me, and really truly understanding the triggers and the biases that I may have, so that I could become a better person or be better to myself. So I think that within these reflective exercises with the homework that you guys have given us, it helped me discover and dismantle some of those adverse life experiences and even trauma. That helps me to accept the new lessons learned, and in ways that has made me even stronger, even and wiser, in hopes of shifting my narrative a bit as well. So yeah, my huge takeaway is to be more intentional with my actions now.
That's cool. What do you want to say to that, Dr. Scott?
I love it. You have the perfect attitude for cultivating this practice. That's all I want to say to Lana. Thank you.
Okay, last exercise here on cynicism and lack of trust. We asked our insiders to think of a time in your past when you didn't trust somebody and they turned out to surprise you and do something positive. Stephanie, how did you answer this question? Steph?
Hi, Oprah and Dr. Scott. So when I reflected on this question, I thought of the way that neighbors were banding together during COVID-19. So my thankful for how our families banded together to help us make the house a home, but then also how in a world of masking and social distancing, our neighbors, I also think our dogs probably helped break the ice, but it just was a really nice welcome to a new place.
I love this. I love this so much because it shows the power of human connection as an activator of gratitude. It's just you find over and over again the power of human connection as being an activator for so many aspects of well-being. But I think sometimes it's overlooked when it comes to gratitude.
Wow. And so, yeah, I think you're right. The dogs made a big difference. Right? We spent a good amount of this. Yeah, we spent a good amount of this class talking about how to find gratitude in those tougher moments. Those challenging moments are a part of life. So we take the good, knowing that the bad is going to show up sometime, and you just want to have the strength and the faith to get through it. So we've all heard the word reframe, Dr. Scott. Sounds great in theory, but much harder to do, to reframe in practice. How do you teach this in your class about reframing a thing?
Yeah, there are a number of exercises that I like. One of my favorites comes from my colleague, Christy Nelson, where she argues instead of thinking, oh gosh, I have to do all these things today, you can reframe it as, oh wow, I get to do all these things today. And just that one simple reframing can completely change your whole outlook on the day. You know, the fact is human experience is a gift, and there are opportunities in every single moment to focus on beauty, love, connection, and what's going right, even if it's just listening to your breath and being grateful that you're alive. So I really like that reframe.
Yeah, when I left the Oprah show and I started the OWN network, my God, I was slaughtered in the media for why did you quit your day job? And every single story in the media framed my current, at the time, position as a struggle. Oprah struggling, the struggling network, the struggle. And it was really getting to me. And I had to have a come to Jesus talk with myself. And one of the things that I did, I didn't even know the term, but I reframed it. I literally went from, I have all these problems, I have all these programming issues, I have the struggling network, or look who gets to have a network. You get to have a network. You get to have a network with your name on it, and you get to be able to create programming to satisfy viewers wherever they are in their lives. I mean, so that was the beginning of the turn for me. I mean, and everybody who's feeling so overwhelmed, particularly as women people, Nick, we tend to feel overwhelmed, Nick. When you start to feel so overwhelmed because of all the responsibilities and all the things that are expected of us, and we expect of ourselves, think about how hard you work to get that. Look at how hard you've worked to have a schedule that you can now barely manage. That's what you were seeking. And you get to be the kind of woman who gets to live in the world with so many things to do it's hard sometimes for you to figure out how to do it. Look at you. Just look at you shining inside yourself with all that stuff you got to do. And look at the women in the world who can't wear their scarves loosely in public. So I just think that we, tend to get overwhelmed by things. But when you start to look at that overwhelmed list as, look at what I created. Look at what because it's there because you created it. You brought it all in to yourself because you said, this is the kind of woman I want to be. Nobody's here is old enough to know there used to be a Revlon commercial about the Charlie girl where she'd do a little spritz of Charlie and she'd start out in the daytime and then she'd go from daytime to evening with a spritz and she'd like change her outfit, change her jacket, Charlie. And I thought, oh, gee, I want to be a Charlie girl. I want to be the kind of woman who's going from morning to night. And then I think about 5 or 6 years into the Oprah show, when I literally was leaving home at 5:30 in the morning in order to get to the gym and be in the makeup chair at 7:30 and leaving work at 10 o'clock at night. I go, I'm a Charlie girl, all right. And it's taken more than a spritz to keep me going. But I realized that's the life I created. That's the life that I'd wanted for myself. I wanted this busy, full day to night kind of existence. And I will say to all of you who are listening to us now, it's yours to design. If you don't like the way it is, it's yours now to redesign. It's yours to take a look at, pull back, look at what's meaningful and what matters, and start literally chipping away at the things that don't mean as much, because it's yours to design. Nobody else is going to design. You designed it as it is. You've taught people how to treat you. So if you're overwhelmed and people are always asking you to do things, that's because you've taught them that you're the one to come to when you need something done, because you know how to get it done. You taught them that. And you can also teach them differently. You can start to pull back. So as we examine these things in our lives, as you sit with what makes you happy, what makes you grateful, what fills you up, what makes you feel more expansive, and you want more of that and not more of the other stuff, only you can do it. Only you can do it by teaching other people how to treat you and what your expectations are. I wanted to hear from the insiders on this one. We asked if you're struggling with feeling gratitude in a current situation, think about how you're going to feel 2 to 3 months from now if that situation resolves. What about your experience would you be grateful for? Deanne, how did you answer this?
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm a small business owner and things are super busy, which I'm very grateful for. I think right now we're just struggling with finding the right people to fill out our team and to continue to grow our small team. So
Everybody is.
Yeah. So I'm feeling overwhelmed. It's hard to feel gratitude in those moments when we're trying to find the right people to fill those roles. And I know that in 2 to 3 months, I will be with the right team members and we'll be, proving and, in the right moments and just on track. But it's hard to feel that when you're overwhelmed and just trying to stay afloat.
Mm-hmm. Well, what you're talking about is everybody, I see you nodding your head. I mean, everybody is experiencing this in their work in so many areas, just because one of the things that I think that COVID did was it made a lot of people not want to work. We also want to work differently. Have you discovered this too, Dr. Scott? People want to work or work differently, and their attitudes toward, working in small business or being a part of a growing startup and all of that has shifted. And so it means that those of us who are in the business of employing other people also are going to shift. What do you want to say to that, Dr. Scott?
No, I think that's absolutely right. And I think that Deanne has just a great mindset around this and trying to look at the longer horizon around this and imagine, 2-3 months from now, what's she going to think, 2-3 years from now. I think she has the right mindset in the way she's thinking about this, quite frankly.
You have the right mindset, Deanne.
You have the right mindset.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah. Our insiders completed an assignment on a time when they found gratitude, even in their time of suffering. And I really want to know how some of you all answered. Melinda, what did you say?
Well, hello, Oprah and Dr. Scott. And
Hi,
Dr. Scott, I just want to say to you, I love your story about when you went to college and you started with singing and then psychology. I love that story. But anyway, I'm currently,
thank you.
yeah, that was great. I'm currently experiencing anticipatory grief. Although my parents are alive, they're both suffering. My mom has cognitive impairment. My dad has physical challenges, and they're not the same. And so it's really difficult to look at them sometimes because I miss who they were. And my mom's thoughts are not always lucid. My dad is 100% totally dependent on us. And I feel overwhelmed sometimes with grief. I feel sad. I feel pain. I feel just completely overwhelmed. But in those moments, I do cry. I know that's a healthy emotion. And then I just really take the time to thank God for them still being alive, the moments that I can still create with them. I thank God for my husband and the support system that I have. And it just makes it easier for me in those moments when I can reflect and just be so very grateful for the memories that I can still create with them, even though they're not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Melinda, there's a real beautiful bittersweetness there. And all the research shows, and my friend Susan Cain has beautifully pointed out, when you recognize that nothing lasts forever, it makes you appreciate what's there even more. And I think, what you're describing just is just a beautiful bittersweetness and an appreciation, a heightened transcendence and appreciation for what still is there. And sometimes you only get that when there's a lot that isn't still there. So it's beautiful.
One of the things that helped me, particularly when I was getting through the process of grieving my father while he was still alive, and I saw everybody else around, hoping for the best. I never believed that the chemotherapy was going to work. I thought it was going to be really destructive to him once he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And so what I was saying to my family is what I'm going to share with you, Melinda. You must get through the stages of grief that start out with, shock and disbelief and denial and anger, and then eventually end with acceptance. You must get to acceptance of this situation sooner, because part of what makes you feel so sad and so, maybe and even sometimes overwhelmed with grief and loss and pain, as you say, and resentful of it is wanting it to be the way it was or wishing that it were different. And that's just energy that is going into making you even more sadder and making it more painful. So once you accept that, this is now what it is. This is what it is. I am now the daughter. I am now that daughter who has become a caretaker, taking care of my elderly parents who are in the latter stages of their life. And this is what it is. This is what it is now. It used to be, and you have all of those wonderful memories, but this is what it is now. And the wanting it to be what it was is what brings on unnecessary sadness, I think. So that was very helpful to me, and also was the lesson I was trying to share with all of my other family members who were saying, well, maybe it'll work, or maybe it'll. Guys, you have to accept that we're looking at him not able to get out of bed or take care of himself anymore. You have to accept that this is now where we are. This is now where we are. That was helpful to me. Acceptance. It's the last stage of grief.
And that's very helpful. And I don't know how to get there, but I'm sure I will get there.
You're a praying woman. I can see that right now. You're a praying woman. Ask to get there. Ask to get there, and you shall receive. ask to get there. Let that be your prayer, is that you can be there in the peacefulness of accepting that this is where you are now, and not wanting it to be any different than it is, because you can't change you can't make it different. So just accept what you have to deal with. Aphrodita, you have such a powerful story. Please share it with the class and everybody at home listening to us.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Thank you so much for having me here, Oprah and Dr. Scott. It's really an honor to be here along with all these beautiful ladies. I'm on cloud
And
nine.
Nick is here. Do not forget Nick.
And Nick, oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
And Dr. Scott.
Well, she did. She acknowledged you, Dr. Scott. She said you first.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I'm sorry.
Okay, good. Okay. Well, we always have one guy, one cool guy. Mhm.
Yeah, I noticed that. Well, wow, there's so much to say about the stages of grief. I think I finally got to acceptance after 2 long years. So I left my husband because after I gave him my whole self, he betrayed me and he shattered the trust that we had. And he put my health and well-being in danger. And I realized, I'm so grateful that I realized early that he was taking advantage of me, or I was letting him do that. And I was devastated, disappointed, heartbroken, and afraid. Thank God for fear. So I left. And I was grateful for my family who checked on me almost every day, my dearest friends who lifted me up when I was down. And I was grateful for my beautiful students who kept me centered on my job, teaching what I love to teach, which is biology. But I then concentrated on the healing journey. It was long and painful, but growing. So for those 2 long years, I woke up every morning thanking God that I was alive. I couldn't believe I was alive. And I went to bed every night being grateful that I had survived another day. And here I am.
Well, I love you saying, thank God for fear. Thank God for fear. I never heard anybody say that before, because the fear is what actually got you to move out of it, right?
Hell yes. I flew out of there.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I wasn't meant to be there. I'm always meant to fly away and fly high and make change, make waves wherever I go, better waves. And now I'm wiser. I can choose better. And
okay, that's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you, can you trust what I was saying earlier? Can you trust yourself now to have better judgment and to make a better decision when it comes to relationship?
Yeah, I mean, a lot more, a lot better. Nobody teaches us how to choose our partner. Pain is the best teacher. I think I've heard it on your shows, the people that you bring to your shows, on the books. Oh my gosh, thank God for books too. So yeah, I think it's been almost 4 years, but it took 2 long, painful years. It took a whole other year to be kind of in the middle where you kind of don't know where you're going and you're afraid to take the next step, but you know you're not going back. And so here I am, ready to date. Maybe you have somebody to set me up with, Oprah.
I got a whole long list of people ahead of you. Gail's way out in front of you right now. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I love your attitude.
You're open to it.
I'm very grateful for the things that the positive things, things that kept me alive, because there was a time of numbness there. And thank God for those really dear friends who lift you up.
And thank God that you come out of that being a better woman. I mean, listen, I've been through several bad relationships in my younger years, and I literally at one point had a mourning celebration, mourning, MOURNIN, mourning for that woman that I was, because I realized that woman that I thought it was about the guy. I thought it was about those guys, but it wasn't about the guy. It was about me being that kind of woman. So I had a releasing of, thank God I'm no longer that woman that would tolerate that kind of behavior for somebody. Thank God I grew enough into myself to love myself enough to not allow myself to be mistreated, to not allow myself to be betrayed and taken, to not allow myself to be lied to not allow myself to be stood up, because when you're taking all that stuff, I mean, you would get every person on here who's been in a relationship and feels like they were betrayed, you got multiple signs before you actually got the courage to step out of it. We all do. You get multiple signs, and you take the stuff in direct proportion to how much you love yourself, because women who truly love themselves do not let other people abuse them. So bravo to you that you came to that.
Yes, Aphrodita, you have such a good attitude. And like the fact that I just want to honor something, the fact that you are fully aware of what you've learned from this experience, and you have the enthusiasm to just enter something else with that knowledge and with that wisdom is really courageous and wonderful. So I just want to just acknowledge that.
Yes, thank you. I think
Thank you.
I
thank you.
God has given me so many great things, my son, my career. I surrender to the goodness and gratitude.
Great.
Yes.
Nick, we haven't heard from you. We've talked about you. We've acknowledged you, Nick. Now we want to know what you got to say.
Thank you for having me here. First off, this has all been super, super enlightening. And yes, thank you, Dr. Scott, as well. So for me, I had like the most amazing, incredible, gosh, I've kind of forgotten how old I was when she passed, but I think I was 32. So we'll go with that. 32 years with my mom, my dear mother, who was like literally my best friend. And right before COVID, and thing to face no matter what. But I don't know, there was something weird about it because I was like really wanting her to see me move to the big city and see, like, get her to come visit me and all that. But I kept remembering after she passed, like we had all those great experiences while she was alive. And for me, like, I am so, so, so grateful, like, to have had every little ounce of time that I had with her while she was alive. And I'm more grateful even for, I know you mentioned your father, suffering after cancer and whatnot, but my mom died like instantly. Like I didn't even hear that she suffered. I didn't know that she was suffering. I knew she had, heart disease and diabetes and all that, but she had a massive heart attack and just died instantly, according to the doctors. And for me, I know this sounds weird, but I am grateful that she didn't have to suffer because she suffered so much throughout her life. As my mother's a single mom from a divorced, family and all that, like she did not have to suffer in the end. Like, the powers that be just took her. And for that, I'm very grateful that that happened the way it did.
That you can be grateful for that is pretty powerful. Yeah. Don't you think, Dr. Scott?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think it illustrates that we can have gratitude for the absence of something as well as the presence for something. We can be grateful for experiences that we didn't have. Actually, I think so many of the experiences that people talked about today, what's in common is that, whether you're dealing with life or death events or whether you had a bad week, gratitude is such a powerful life tool that you can pull out of the toolbox anytime to find more meaning and remind ourselves of what matters most.
So, yeah.
I love that toolbox. I love that toolbox. Dr. Scott, what should be in that toolbox?
A receptiveness and openness to life as it is, not necessarily how you want it to be, not necessarily your expectations for the moment, but being able to receive the inherent possibilities for joy, connection, wonder, awe in every single moment.
wonder, and awe. Well, thank you, Dr. Scott. Dr. Scott Barry
Thank you.
Kaufman. Thank you to all of our insiders who so bravely opened up to all of us today. And thank you for sharing your gratitude list with me. Thank you to everybody watching at home or listening to us. I hope that you will do your own gratitude list. You heard from our insiders here how much it expanded them. Our next class is going to be on November 15th, and this is going to be a good one for you. We'll be talking about joy, 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 joy. Speaking of joy, on November 1st, right here on Oprah Daily, you'll get my favorite things list comes out. Now, I don't know if it's going to make you joyful, but at least it'll give you a list of things to help other people have a little joy in their life. So keep an eye out for that. Also, if you haven't had a chance to watch all the classes or some of the classes, you can just scroll down at the bottom of this page and catch up. And at any time, you can listen to this or watch this and put a little more gratitude in your life. I'm looking forward to seeing you next month. And until then, jump into those comments. What actually moved you today? What you gained from this conversation? I'd like to hear from you. Thank you for being here, everybody. Good night.